Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of 1923 Main Street.
Home of the Disney Travel Podcast with the latest Disney travel news. We are your hosts.
I am Mike Bello-Braddock.
And I'm Amelia Bello-Braddock. And today, MagicBand Plus comes to Disneyland Resort and Epcot celebrates its 40th anniversary.
Yes, it's anniversary season.
It's forever anniversary season.
Because Disney has more anniversaries than, I don't know, anybody I know.
Okay, let me tell you though, right? So they have their whole 50th Disney World shebang. It lasted for 18 months, way more than necessary. As soon as that's closing out, 100 Years of Wonder. It's now Disney as a company's 100th celebration. Conveniently, EPCOT 40th is squashed in the middle there. And then they're going to, of course, keep that going for a couple years. And just as they finish it, it's 2025 and Disneyland 70th. And you know, Disneyland Paris just had their 30th. I'm sure Tokyo or Shanghai or Hong Kong's got an anniversary coming up. So
what are you saying? They shouldn't celebrate these milestones?
I'm saying Disney will forever be an anniversary season. So to anyone who's buying merchandise, stop, because you're going to go forever into debt.
I know. I have to say that for some reason, it does feel like there's way more anniversaries piled up one after another right now.
I think we're going for like another straight 5 years of anniversary.
Like I remember we did Disneyland Diamond. That was a few years back.
And then we stopped.
And then, yeah, there wasn't any, although we were at Paris for the 25th. Now it's the 30th coming up. So,
right, of course. How could I forget?
Yeah, so they definitely, well, can you blame them? It's a good way to...
No, of course not. People buy all of their merchandise.
That's right.
That's the thing. As long as we all keep buying, I'm saying because I bought a ton of 50th merchandise, of course. But as long as we keep buying it, Disney's going to keep doing it.
Now, I don't buy almost any merch. I did buy some 50th stuff because 50 for Walt Disney World is important to me, but I'm not a victim who goes out and buys every single thing. We'll get into merchandise in a minute, but first let's talk about Epcot turning 40. October 1st, 2022 is the actual date. It turns 40. Well, you know what? Epcot. So Epcot and Hollywood Studios were the two most sort of fragmenty parks, but for different reasons. And they're both trying to fix that right now. Hollywood's gotten a lot better recently.
I think Hollywood's done a pretty good job of that.
Hollywood was rushed into existence because Universal announced their park, and so they made it Hollywood fast.
Often in the crunch of time, to be the better company creates the best thing. That's when I do my best work, in the crunch of time, to beat someone else. And I think Hollywood
Michael Eisner was
really
not good at rushing things, and Walt Disney Studios and Disneyland Paris is another example of that.
On MGM, but Hollywood Studios is fantastic. But
let's talk about Epcot, because Epcot has a reason. So for starters, I think I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again because it's funny. As we were original Disney travelers with my family as kids growing up, right from the very beginning, we'd go for 2 to 3 weeks a year and have continued that for 50 years now. Yeah. But I'll never forget, my dad used to ride his bike around Disney World while we were there for several weeks every year. And one time he came back when Epcot was first announced, right? They first announced it, and then they had a little welcome center.
They didn't have news podcasts back then.
Yeah, they didn't have anything. And he came back, and he was telling us they were opening a second park. They're going to build a second park, and it's called Epcot, and he explained what it stood for, and he talked about how it was, based on science and education and sort of the world countries.
And as a young child, you were probably like...
Well, I don't know, 14 or 15, but still, me and my sisters are looking at him going, that sucks, right? Like, what is...
Yeah.
Like, what the heck? And now you have to remember...
Yeah.
What?
I just imagine being my age, and Six Flags is like, okay, so we're building this new thing. It's about learning.
So here's why Epcot is sort of cool. So if you think of it as, remember, Walt Disney created the theme park, right? And the only two theme parks in the world at that time were Disneyland and the Magic Kingdom. Epcot was the first park in the world not to be based on a Magic Kingdom. And Walt Disney passed away. Universal wasn't even anything yet. And Walt Disney had passed away, so his version of Epcot, of course, as we know, which was to be an actual living town, didn't happen. So the Imagineers had to figure out what to do with it, but it wasn't based on Disney characters. It wasn't based on Disney stories.
So they had to change course.
It was really hard for them, right? They had to figure out, how do we do this? This is not a Magic Kingdom. So they were completely off on their own, truly Imagineering now.
Yeah, and actually they had to begin to establish what would become iconic Disney things without basing them off of Disney. Something I think Disney's kind of strayed away from.
Yeah, and
Now,
they actually thought it would fail. Like a lot of them were worried that Epcot would be a flop because no one knew, right? This was completely uncharted territory. Is this even going to work, right? So,
I mean, based on your reaction, I would think not.
But then I do have to say, when it opened, and by this time I think I was 18 maybe, or something like that, I actually liked World Showcase in particular better than I thought it was. I thought it was pretty cool once I actually got there and saw it. So to celebrate its 40th is a bit of a milestone because its history is sort of choppy. It was the first non-character
straight
themed
out of
park.
the gate crowd pleaser.
Yeah. They were going completely off-roading with this one, and it's evolved over time, of course.
I mean, Epcot's always been my least favorite park. No hate, love all of them, but Epcot has always been my least favorite park. And I think probably because it just seems less fun.
Yeah,
when you're younger, it's less fun. I mean, the caramel is a definite giant plus for it there. And with all of the new coasters they're adding, it's making strides, and so is Hollywood. I think it's always seemed sort of less fun than the other parks.
There's this trend we talked about maybe, 50 episodes ago or whatever it was, but how they're adding characters to everything, right?
Yes.
They're Disneyfying everything from Meisner's Lounge becoming the Enchanted Rose to rides are reimagined and then suddenly they're Disney character rides. And they've been doing that at Epcot as well. Like, I wouldn't even be surprised if Spaceship Earth suddenly has like a Wall-E angle to it or something. Who knows, right? But they've been going down that road. But all of that aside, Epcot turning 40, pretty cool. Not a park I thought I would like before it opened because it sounded so weird. And it sounded weird because there was nothing like it, but that's what Disney did.
It was revolutionary.
Trailblaze at that time with Walt's vision still intact. Anyway, so October 1st, it turns 40. Like you said, there is 40th anniversary merchandise has been revealed. We'll post some photos of it.
But just for a really quick amount of time. So if you're there from the 29th to the 3rd, then you can probably have some of these things. If not, sorry.
Yeah, I will say, contrary to what you said at the beginning, they're not dragging this one out forever. It's a very short anniversary window.
Yeah, because they've already got Paris's 30th and the world as a whole's 50th.
And then 100's coming up.
100 Years of Wonder. So I don't think they need to drag out Epcot's 40th anniversary.
And I have to say, this new the Epcot 40th anniversary collection, of course, as it's called, starts becoming available as of October 1st. And then they're going to sort of release more items throughout the month of October. But it hasn't been getting good reviews, and I have to say, even the Halloween stuff this year I wasn't impressed with. So the current designers of Disney merch, not loving it.
It's just kind of been fine.
Yeah, like this does have retro and nostalgic designs, which I usually like. I just don't I like simpler things, right? Like simple designs on t-shirts, not this stuff that's all over print.
They think that everything's already been done, and so they need to do new things. But I don't mean that I just want them to recycle all of the same stuff over and over again. I think just sometimes they're doing a little bit too much. I think they're just doing too much, and it kind of, I didn't really want to buy any of the Halloween merch this year. And I was looking for Halloween merch to buy. I actually thought it was ugly
this year, and I'm not buying any of this Epcot stuff either. It is available, of course, at Walt Disney World, and some of it will be available on Shop Disney, so you don't have to go there. There'll be a bigger selection on site, but you can if you really want the 40th stuff.
If you're really an Epcot person.
Yeah, it'll be there. Now, of course,
there's food.
There's food. Now, this makes sense because World Showcase, food was a big part of Epcot right from the beginning, with trying all those countries and all that sort of stuff. So let's go through. This one's not that long, so we're going to go through it all, and we're going to have our top picks. So why don't you kick it off? This is sort of a variation of something that exists.
So starting at Connections Café, we have the Liege Waffle, which is brioche dough with pearl sugar. It's pretty simple, but brioche is especially interesting for me. It's very delicious. It's creamy. It's just the epitome of yumminess.
Yeah, so this is a play on the Liege Waffle they have at Connections Cafe right now. Most of these things are available now as you're listening to this.
Some of the stuff is pretty simple, right? But it's good. It works.
But they're not lasting long. So almost all of these little special things are only till October 2nd or 3rd.
That one runs from the September 29th to October 3rd.
So you got to get it this week. The week this episode drops is your week to get this stuff. All right, over at Chozo de Margarita, there's a 40th Fiesta frozen margarita, and it's in a Mexico 40 souvenir cup. That's okay. Not a pick of mine, but the next one is another Amelia pick.
Yes, at Funnel Cake, the celebration funnel cake. This has vanilla ice cream, whipped cream, sprinkles, and 40th candies. And this is my pick. This one's a little bit over the top, but I feel like it could still be good.
Yeah, well, over the top and Disney sort of go together when it comes to food.
Valid point.
Now, here's my pick. At the Garden House, there is a sake cocktail flight featuring Samurai, Mount Fuji, Tokyo Sunset, and Violet Sake. So I've started doing Japanese barbecue at home here in Disney Resort North this summer, so I've been buying sake, so I wouldn't mind actually trying out this flight. And then also back in Mexico at La Hacienda de San Angel and the San Angel Inn, they have a flan, a vanilla custard topped with blueberries, whipped cream, and a Mexico 40 white chocolate garnish. It seems like Mexico is the one really getting most into these picks.
Yeah, seriously.
Nine Dragons in China has dan dan noodles, spicy pork Szechuan sauce, peanut butter, sesame, cucumber, and green onion. Don't know how that's particularly 40th. I have another good pick over at Space 220.
Yeah, this one sounds delicious.
Yeah, the creme catalana. So this is vanilla cream custard, lemon snow, citrus segments, and spicy ginger crumble. That sounds good. That is a definite pick for me.
Yes, and Sunshine Seasons, I think you'll like this one too. This is a figment sponge cake with honey lime mousse.
Yeah, I'm not a huge figment fan, but for those of you who are...
But for the lime fan in you.
Yeah, I do like lime. So head to Sunshine
So you
Seasons.
have to admit it, you love the lime.
And I do like these last two from the Tokyo, or from the Japan pavilion, rather. Teppanydo has a 40th Sakatini. So this was on the menu when the Japan pavilion first opened. And so it has sake, butterfly pea flower to recreate the night sky at Epcot. So that's sort of cool. And then there's a couple more at Tokyo Dining. The EPCOT 40th Kaizen Chirashi Don, which is a celebration sushi bowl, to put it quite simply.
And also the Epcot 40th Sakatani, and this Sakatani was on the menu when, of course, the Japan Pavilion first opened.
Ones.
Yep, and this combines sack and butterfly pea flower to create the color reminiscent of the Epcot sky as well.
Yeah, so lots of sake stuff coming in here.
Yeah, so this one's available at multiple locations as well, as we just mentioned previously.
All right, so limited food guide, but the food is better than the merch, is all I'm going to say. So eat the food, pass on the merch. That's what I'm going to do. All right, and finally...
In other news...
So MagicBand Plus coming to Disneyland Resort this fall, no date, but...
Something new for them. We got it first for once.
Yeah, and we buy them. We buy the stuff to test it out. But is it worth it? We already did this.
No.
Now, if you don't have a MagicBand at all at Disneyland, you will be able to use it for things that are convenient, like getting into the park with your wrist, tapping into Lightning Lane and stuff like that. It is convenient, which was available on MagicBand 2.0 always.
I mean, if you're getting a brand new one, maybe. But if you have a functional MagicBand 2.0,
that works at Disneyland.
Yeah, I wouldn't just go and get a MagicBand Plus for no reason.
So
it's not worth it.
The enhanced stuff, what I wanted to see is there anything new that Disneyland will do that Disney World doesn't? The answer is no.
Not really.
Not really. Nothing in the list. Glow with the show, the Batu Bounty Hunters thing, which to me sort of ruins Galaxy's Edge with those cheesy screens.
I don't know that it does less than the Florida one. It's just nothing special.
Yeah, there's nothing new. No, it does exactly what the Florida one does, except they don't even have these golden statues, which big deal. They talk to us. So I'm not a big fan, as you know, no secret of the current functionality of MagicBand Plus.
What,
we think
really?
It should have been a smartwatch, but anyway.
Yeah.
So, try it, but don't expect anything fantastic. And if you're wavering on the edge and the convenience of tapping and stuff is all, but none of that is the MagicBand Plus grid. That was always available for Disney World.
None of them is in the Plus. It's just the MagicBand that's pretty cool.
But if that's all you can get at Disneyland, then, try it out if you're so inclined to try Disney Tech. All right, that is the news for this week. We hope you enjoyed the show and enjoy Epcot's 40th anniversary. It is a cool park with a nice history. Yeah. 40th clothing, not a big deal. And at least they're not dragging this one out. Thanks for listening. As always, you're now caught up on all the latest Disney travel news. We will see you again next week. Join us at 1923 Main Street on social media and have a magical day.
Bye-bye.